piece is really about the pressure that we feel as children and especially as women.
I have a piece about a French woman whose home is invaded by the Nazis.
My piece, which is a duet scene, it's heavily based on someone that I know.
Well, it's about my divorce, not my divorce, my parents' divorce. So my piece is about how that conflict that you have with yourself, an internal conflict about what it means to be alive.
My piece is about this. In freshman year, I fell in love with this guy.
It's basically how this girl is embarrassed on what her father is doing.
The piece I'm doing is about a girl and her father.
My piece is about my boobs, essentially.
My piece, you could say that it's on a global and an internal scale. I just wanted to make people laugh.
It's about like this time I got a D.
It's about this guy who's fighting in World War II.
My piece is about anxiety.
This spring program, we focused around the 70th anniversary of D-Day. We came at the theme of conflict and why conflict happens and also what happens after the conflict. What are the lingering effects on the individual? So some of these kids are presenting original pieces about their own experiences with conflict, whether it be personal or familial. And other kids have taken true stories that we provided them from firsthand accounts of World War II.
Something that I started researching because I read an article about this real reporter who actually went to a death camp like this.
When I arrived in Leuven, there was a car waiting for me and a group of other reporters there too. We started driving to Majdanek. The landscape around it was, if anything, ugly. The road was dusty and the grass a grayish color. We got out of the car, and when we arrived at Majdanek, we were surprised. The buildings looked harmless.
We selected 30 of them to participate in the 6-week program. Over the course of the next 6 weeks, I had 18 of them that worked to refine and rewrite their stories, and they came to find that they are storytellers.
This is like my first time, and to me to be chosen, I feel like very good about myself because I've never been one to say, okay, let me try drama. It's like my first year doing it.
Well, this is my first time being in any sort of professional production, so that's really exciting. But the age range is very large, and you have people like me who are getting ready to go off to college and who've been doing this for a really long time. And then you have younger kids who may have never done theater before.
Arts Garage is also an awesome social experience. You get to meet so many new people and you get to learn their stories. But now people are going to hear and actually hear my story and they can relate to it. And I think that's going to really help me knowing that other people actually care about what I have to say.
People have told me things about divorce, like it's not a good experience or how certain people should be sad and others shouldn't be. Everyone tries to help. What I really needed to hear was,
We just want the best for you.
for all of us. This divorce has helped us all grow so much. At first it may be a little hard, but trust me, it's not that bad.
We brought them to the Arts Garage to see some theater and get them, a lot of these kids hadn't been exposed to live theater before.
It was one of the best audiences we had, actually, one of the first one especially, that we had a matinee.
And a large portion of that audience had never been to a live theatrical event.
It's snowing again. Wicked. Head of the harbor's frozen solid. Kids are skating on it, on the ocean. It'd kill you quick. This kind of winter if you don't bundle up. But it's beautiful to look at.
And so we got into this really interesting discussion about, what is conflict and do we need it? And what we've kind of tried to center the show around is that maybe we don't listen to them enough, that maybe we aren't asking them. Maybe the reason they're not giving us that kind of feedback is because we're not asking the questions.
And all of us were strangers at first, and then through the process of discussing and sharing our different pieces, I think we formed a nice bond, and there was a nice trust between everyone that we felt comfortable enough to share our thoughts.
One of the best feelings that I really ever have is when I'm on stage. I love attention.
We met in the hallway. You dropped your books and I was helping you pick them up. I asked you if you were an angel and you said, leave me alone. But you said it beautifully.
Whether we've been taught it or not, we understand kind of inherently what a good story is because we've heard them, we've told them, we've been around them. So if you can break it down like a map and show these kids, here are the parts of the story, and if you follow this, you'll have a good story, that seemed to make it easier for them.
Well, when I first wrote the piece, I kind of just wanted it to be comedic, but after like the first couple weeks, I realized that I could make it more dramatic and I could show more of my personal stories with everything.
Nobody knows what it's like to have to deal with these. They're the first impression that I give to people. Holy crap! Those are some enormous boobs. They say this as if it's the first time that I'm hearing it, so I always have to respond with, oh my gosh, no way, how did these get here?
It originally had some of my grandmother in the piece, but through this process I was able to involve her more, to be more of a focus point, which is great because it was able to make it more personal, and I was able to make the piece, I don't know, more relatable to everyone else.
You know, when I was little, I had this fear of growing up, of getting older because of death. But it wasn't until I started to learn more about the world and the people who make up our history that I realized it's not the death part that scares me, but instead to live and die without anything significant happening in between.
This is awesome, in my opinion. I mean, I always look forward to this.
So I'm really shocked by everyone and how well done this production has come to be, and I love being a part of it.
We are working to get a web-based platform. We want to be able to connect not just with students in our area, but we want to connect with students around the country, around the globe. I'm very excited to see the day when I have kids from Chicago and LA and Tokyo giving feedback to kids who are here in South Florida, and the same thing going back and forth. I want every kid in this world to realize their story is important, and I hope we can start to make that happen.
This was a wonderful program for my students. I saw some tremendous growth from several of my students tonight. It was a spectacular achievement for all three of them. The program itself offers a voice that they might not get otherwise.
I'm a theater teacher in the school system, and I just have to say that I was so amazed by tonight's performance. It's very hard to do the things that are accomplished by other agencies and other organizations, and the show tonight was just phenomenal, and I hope that we can keep this work up.